next speaker is going to be speaking to us on non-pharmacological approaches to addressing suffering. And it is my great pleasure to present to you Veronique Despres. Veronique is currently employed as Director of Multidisciplinary Services at Saint-Raphael Palliative Care Home and Day Center since 2019. Prior to this position, she was working as a social worker for the past 20 years, and this experience includes working at the McGill University Health Center in oncology and palliative care on the adult site, at the Montreal Children's Hospital in complex care with children and families, and in a CLSC providing palliative care home care services to patients. So she comes with a wealth of experience, and please join me in welcoming her.
All right, hello everybody. So my name is Veronique. I was supposed to be here today accompanied by my colleague, oh yes, I forgot this, thank you. My colleague Anne, who is unable to be here today, so I will do my very best to relay the part of the music therapy, which she was going to present that aspect of the presentation. So bear with me, please. All right. So for myself, just to declare, I work at Saint-Raphael, so I do receive my salary from Saint-Raphael. Anne, for herself, is not declaring any affiliation to profit or non-profit organizations. So at the conclusion of this presentation, you're going to be able to review the different non-pharmacological methods provided at Saint-Raphael in the day center. And you'll be able to assess the experience of patients, caregivers, and the bereaved throughout the trajectory of their care at La Maison Saint-Raphael, from the day center to admission to our palliative care unit to the provision of the bereavement services. So the competencies, well, you can see, will be as followed: expert, scholar, and health advocate. So before I get into the topic, I just felt like maybe some of you don't know what is La Maison Saint-Raphael, so I thought I would give you just a brief presentation. So Saint-Raphael is a palliative care hospice and day center. We're located in Montreal at the very center in Côte-des-Neiges. We opened in November 2019. And we welcome patients from oncology, but any other life-threatening illnesses as well. And of note, all of our services are free in the day center and on the hospice. So this is just a picture of one of our rooms. We have 12 rooms, and it's really for end-of-life care, so having patients that have received a prognosis of less than 3 months. The day center is an outpatient service, basically. We're open 6 days a week. We offer early palliative care services to patients, but as well as families and children, which would include children as well, caregivers, and also people facing grief. We are looking to, hopefully, if everything goes well, open a symptom management clinic in the near future. But in the meantime, we offer individual, couple, and family services. We also offer groups, therapeutic groups, and also leisure groups for breaking social isolation. So basically, our goal in the day center is really to try to increase or maintain quality of life of the families and the patients that we welcome. Our team at Saint-Raphael, so we are very lucky. We have a beautiful team, 7 physicians, 22 nurses, 12 PABs, roughly about 90 volunteers as of now. And our multidisciplinary team, which is well-rounded. We have a music therapist, we have an art therapist, we have 2 social workers, we have a spiritual care massage therapist, we have 2, an acupuncture physiotherapist, and occupational therapist. So At Saint-Raphael, because we have this day center and the hospice, our multidisciplinary team travels from the day center to the palliative care unit, which really allows us to provide continuity of care. So it's really appreciated, and our activities are available in the day center, but obviously they're also offered to our patients and families on the hospice level, which really allows for a lot of beautiful exchanges between the two services. So the best scenario for the approach that we have at Saint-Raphael is what we call the full circle experience. So what is that best scenario? Well, first of all, it's when the patient is referred earlier on at the day center, which unfortunately is not the case. In the majority of times, patients arrive a little too late in their trajectory of care. It's also when the family is seen as a whole. It really helps, especially for bereavement services afterwards. The best scenario is also if the patient wants to come to a hospice, that we're able to admit the patient, because we only have 12 beds. And the best scenario is also when there's continuity of care, meaning that whatever services they had in the day center is continued during admission. And finally, when the family agrees to have bereavement services afterwards. So the approach of the multidisciplinary team is really, it allows us with the family and the patient to really address the suffering from different angles. Anne and I, when we were thinking of presenting here today about the non-pharmacological ways to address suffering, we thought it would be nice to present a case, because it's always more interesting, and it'll, in this case, really show you how we can really approach families. So this family that we chose really experienced the full circle experience, meaning they came to the day center, patient was admitted on our unit, and the family stayed at Saint-Raphael to receive the bereavement services. And in this case, this family also chose to take advantage of many of our services. So I'll present to you this young man. So he was 43 years old. He was living at home with a very rare brain tumor. He was diagnosed 14 years ago, and he was married with a daughter that was 14 years old. So you'll notice that in his case, he found out about his cancer when his wife gave birth to their daughter. He underwent several lines of treatments. He had several surgeries. And when he came to us, he was beginning the very last line of chemotherapy. He was referred to us by the outpatient palliative care physician from the hospital. So when patients arrive at the day center, they can either be self-referred or they're referred by their healthcare team. And I always meet with anybody who's referred. The goal of that meeting is really, well, first of all, to take the opportunity to get to know them. Second of all, it's also to hear them out about the story of their illness, the story of the care that they've received up until now. And it's also the opportunity for me to talk about our services. And so after talking about their needs, hopefully we're able to meet their needs by some of our services. What I've come to realize as I've been doing this is that a lot of people arrive at the day center not really knowing what they need or even what we do in a day center. And I'd say most of them are so afraid of the word palliative care. As you probably all know, there's still that strong association between palliative care and end of life. So I'm always very grateful to have this first moment with them to just kind of debunk that and reassure them. So in this, going back to our gentleman, this lovely family, when I met with them, this is what came out after the discussion. So as a couple, they wanted to meet a social worker because they had to talk about the disease progression with their daughter, and they didn't know how to do that. The patient was experiencing a lot of physical symptoms, back pain, fatigue, brain fog, and a lot of sensation of heaviness in his legs. And the wife, well, she, like many caregivers that come to Saint Raphael at the day center, she didn't want to impose, she didn't want to abuse of our services, but really try to encourage caregivers to receive our services because they are a large part of the success of keeping patients at home. So she finally accepted the therapeutic bath for relaxation, and she asked to see a social worker individually to address some of the stress she was experiencing and maybe developing some better strategies to cope with her stress. So just to present the outline of the trajectory of their care at Saint Raphael, it's kind of divided in three. So the period of time when they were at the day center, and then after when they were admitted, and then finally the bereavement services. So in the day center, they received many services over several months. And one of the services that they used was social services. So as I said, they saw a social worker as a couple, but then each member of the family saw a social worker individually. So for the patient, primarily the topic that was addressed was the limited prognosis, how to come to terms with that. For the wife, as I said, it was to deal with her stress, but it was also that she was concerned about how not everybody in the family had the same perception of how the end would look like. So she was very concerned about that. And for the daughter, eventually, she came to the day center and met with the social worker because she needed a safe space to just ask her questions. We talked about protecting our loved ones, so she felt the need to protect her parents and maybe not ask those uncomfortable questions. And she needed a lot of support. So, again, massage therapy sessions were offered to both the patient and the wife. The therapeutic bath, as I said, acupuncture was very useful for the patient for managing some of his symptoms. And then eventually came the music therapy. Music therapy was offered to the patient, and I'd say he was drawn to it just because he loved music. So he didn't really know what music therapy was, but the love of music just gave him the sense that maybe he would connect with the music therapist. What they did together is that they worked on meaning making, legacy work, exploring a space where he felt esteemed. So this was a big issue for him over the years, 14 years, that's a long time. He really felt denigrated by the illness. So music therapy really allowed him to address that. So after working with them over several months, some issues stood out very clearly. So some of those issues were, first of all, each member, as many family members, they were all coping with different ways. They all felt isolated from one another, and they felt also isolated from their friends and their family who didn't really quite understand at this point how much the disease had progressed. They also didn't have, unfortunately, a lot of compassion for one another. And the distress was, as the disease was progressing, and it was progressing very quickly, their distress was getting higher and higher. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, in my experience, when patients are living a long time, many years with an illness, they've had a lot of close calls. And so in this situation, this family, they were really having trouble accepting, like, is this another close call, or is this really the end? Because we had told them many times that it was the end, and it hadn't been. So that was also playing out. So it became very clear after one of our multidisciplinary meetings where we discussed different cases that we needed to offer a family meeting to this family to address some of these issues. And so the family accepted and they participated, all three of them. And what were the goals of that meeting? Well, first of all, to address the unexpressed anger and fear and sadness that we were observing, and also just to facilitate the communication between them. And it was really beneficial. In fact, they had better awareness of each other's suffering after that. They also were surprised to recognize that they basically all had the same fears and emotion towards the fact that the patient was going to be dying. They had better communication, and most of all, they had compassion for one another. So after many months of day center services, but also a lot of home care services, the patient wasn't coping anymore at home, and it was clear for them that their wish was to be in a hospice setting, not in a hospital setting, and very thankfully we were able to have a space available for them. So he was admitted to Saint-Raphael, and he stayed with us for about 2 months. So during that period of time, all the services that were offered at the day center prior to that continued on. The daughter, who continued with school but stopped for a little bit to be more present at her father's bedside, started to do art therapy sessions, massage, and therapeutic bath services. The wife and the daughter attended weekly our beehive, not our beehive, sorry, I always say that, the archive, which is for those of you who don't know what it is, it's basically a creative space where, that we have in the day center, where the community of Saint-Raphael can just show up and create. We just lay out tons of art tools, and you just sit down and with different people. It's very nice. So they enjoyed doing that every single week. And it's during the admission that the legacy work really began for this patient. So what he chose to do is songwriting with the music therapist and hand molding with the art therapist. So, as I said, after 2 months, the patient passed away. When he passed away, he was with his daughter and his wife. He died peacefully. And I have to say, I was so stunned. The wife and the daughter, after a very intense period of time during the admission, right away, as soon as the patient passed away, they continued to come to the day center and now to start with the bereavement services. So during that phase, which lasted several months, in fact, they still come from time to time to Saint-Raphael, the social work follow-ups continued for the wife. The daughter was seen with the art therapist. They continued to come to the art hive every week. Massage therapy was continued for the wife, again for stress and fatigue primarily. She started, the wife, to see the acupuncture because of stress and fatigue, but also for a sensation of pressure on her thorax. Another family meeting was necessary because after several months, the daughter and the wife needed to have a space where they can talk about their loss as a personal way, and also to address their needs moving forward. The wife attended a creative writing group. They came to our 5 à 7, so we do those kinds of activities where we try to help with the social isolation. And the daughter presented her art therapy project at our Solstice event, which is an event that we do twice a year where people that have a project in music therapy and art therapy are invited to present what they've been working on. So this is the part I wish Anne was here. She would speak to you with a lot of passion because she's very passionate about music therapy, but I'll present to you what she prepared, and this is her experience. So this is based on her experience as a music therapist, how music therapy can address existential suffering. So for Anne, it's a safe space to express distress, and music can be a very powerful outlet for emotions. Legacy work has two important impacts. Number one, it's for the patient to leave a mark and to not be forgotten. And it can be a way to soothe death anxiety. What Anne does, especially on the palliative care unit, is that sometimes she'll regulate the rhythm of the music or her singing voice to the breath to help regulate the respiration of the patient, which will bring a sense of calm. Music can distract from the physical or emotional pain. And again, in her experience, meaningful songs that are requested by patients and family usually reveal an important struggle and therefore allows painful topics to rise and to maybe hopefully open the door to discussions. So for this patient specifically, music therapy provided a sense of peace and self-worth. It created a space where he was able to express his emotions. So for this man, he had experience in songwriting in his past. He had not done that in a very long time, but he was really, really talented. So the fact of going back into the songwriting at the end of his life, at a moment where he was more vulnerable, really contributed to giving him back self-worth. In art therapy, they worked, as I said earlier, on a hand molding, and in his case, they molded his hand holding a guitar pick, which was a really nice project to blend in with the music therapy project, which was the songwriting. So legacy work, as you can imagine, it's a priceless gift. For him, it was really important to not feel that he would ever be forgotten, especially for his daughter. The song holds all the love that he had for his daughter. And for him, it was a way also to give her a gift to accompany her during her grief. Obviously, he would not be there to help her. And the song was revealed to the daughter and the wife at his very, very last days. But he was at least able to sing the song himself to the daughter. So as you can imagine, it was an extremely intimate and meaningful moment for the wife and for the daughter. The song is called Une photo sur un piano, and I'm very pleased they've accepted for Saint Raphael to share you the song. So I won't play the whole song because it will take too much time, but I'll play just a small part.
On a vécu tant de belles choses, des petites.
Qui si souvent explose, rappelle-toi, pour toujours,
Je t'aime,
mon amour.
Déjà,
J'ai la fierté de ton papa.
je ne pensais pas
Qu'on avait
aimer si fort que ça.
l'amour, c'est quelque chose de puissant.
Celui que j'ai pour toi dépasse l'entendement.
Quand tu t'ennuies de moi, rappelle-toi. Quand tu t'ennuies de moi, rappelle-toi.
Toi, vécu tant de belles choses, des petites et des grandioses.
Nos milliards de fourrures qui si souvent explosent. Rappelle-toi pour toujours.
Je t'aime, mon amour.
Okay, oops. Is there a way to go back and to show the picture? I just want to go and back and, sorry about that. Yeah, so it's hard to even say words after hearing this. Every time I hear it, I feel his presence every time I've been preparing for this presentation. It's a beautiful song. So the picture that you saw, that's not there anymore, but that was the project that the daughter prepared after her father passed away. So the name of the song was Une photo sur un piano, and her project was called Le souvenir d'une mélodie, and so that was her way of attributing. Oh, thank you so much. There you go. Attributing the song that her father wrote for her. And you can see the camera that she drew, kind of referring to the picture on the piano. You can really tell that this family used music as a crucial instrument to help them cope with adversity. And so I thank you very much for listening to me, and I just want to say a special thank you to this family for sharing their story and for allowing me to share with you today. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Veronique. Is that better? Okay. So if anyone in the room has questions, please, I invite you to come up to the mic, and I'm going to check the chat to see if there's anything there.
Hello, Veronique.
Hello.
I just want to say a little comment. I'm Nathalie, the mother of David Coronata. Mm-hmm. So, sorry, choking. My son is followed in palliative care. He's 16 years old. And we've been admitted to Maison Saint-Raphael lately. This is part of a new special project that they're working with the Lighthouse and with l'ASPAD, another organization. And as a parent and for my husband also, we've been receiving services from La Maison Saint-Raphael, and I just want to say thank you. You're doing amazing work.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Of course. Hi, Dr. Ferrario.
Ciao.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Maybe it's a strange question. I'm always surprised. I was surprised by the overwhelming majority of volunteers' presence in the place. Mm-hmm. How does that particular presence change the dynamics compared to, let's say, a work environment without that many volunteers?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I'll start by saying that I don't know how we would survive if we didn't have volunteers, so I just want to say how important they are. They're really seen as members of the team, and each volunteer plays a very particular role, so we really some of, like, for instance, I was talking to you about the Art Hive. That's fully led by volunteers. So their role can be seen as really even providing services to families and to patients. So I don't know if I'm answering correctly the question, but they play a very crucial role in different sectors of our organization. So it can be in philanthropy, but it can be in providing accompaniment services. It can be in taking care of our beautiful garden. So they're a very crucial presence.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
We have just some comments in the chat. Very moving presentation. Thank you for sharing. Somebody had asked, what's a PAB? So someone answered, it's a préposé aux bénéficiaires, or an orderly. It's okay. Someone would like to know how the day program is funded.
So, well, Saint-Raphaël in general is funded partially by the Ministère de la Santé, the Health Ministry, but it's largely funded by private donors. So, same for the day center. So it's a struggle. I won't. I think it's a situation for all palliative care hospices. We all have the same model. So it's by the generosity of donors. Yeah.
And one other quick question. It'll be our last question.
Yep.
How did you cope during COVID? What did you do differently? And this person is saying that unfortunately COVID really impacted negatively their volunteer program.
Right. So, well, we opened in November 2019. So, what would I do differently? It was really difficult, I have to say. We worked very closely with the with public health, and I have to say we were very fortunate because we did not close the day center at all during COVID. If ever you have a chance to come visit us, our facility is very big, so we were able to do social distancing, and so we were allowed to continue to deliver services, and volunteers were also allowed to continue to help us. So we were very fortunate. I know it was not the same for other organizations. So yeah, that's it. Voilà.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Next, we have a dynamic duo that I've had the pleasure to work closely with. I'm so happy to be able to present to you Dr. Jean Zigby and Rifka Hanfling. So I'm going to take a moment to introduce them. Rifka is the Palliative Care and Grief Support Coordinator for Hope and Cope at the Jewish General Hospital. Since 2013, she has been Hope and Cope's Assistant Coordinator in Radiation Oncology and has worked in palliative care. She initiated the My Story and the virtual reality projects, tools that help volunteer teams practice by enhancing their knowledge of the person and support the establishment of therapeutic relationships in palliative care. As coordinator, she is the link between patients, volunteers, and the medical team. She leads the volunteer team and supervises their work, and she offers psychosocial services to patients and their families during some of the most difficult times in their lives. She has a BA in administration, a DEC in social services, and a Bachelor of Social Work from McGill University. Dr. Jean Zigby is a family and palliative care physician and is currently the Director of Palliative Medicine at the CIUS de Centre-Ouest de l'Île de Montréal. He was trained at McGill University and has peer-reviewed publications on advocacy teaching in medicine and has worked extensively on the development of the health advocate role in CanMeds. So please join me in welcoming both of them.
Thank you very much, Bessie. I just wanted to start off saying how much I appreciate the organizational skill and the team that went into making this day. And I just want to say thank you to the entire scientific committee and organizational committee. Honestly, this is one of the days that I find truly special at Palliative Care McGill. And every year I find it really helps to connect on this day. So thanks for that. My role here today is very easy, actually. It's I get to enjoy the presentation, which are my fellow and muscly researcher, Rifka, is going to give to you all with respect to virtual reality today. Just a quick review. Who here has never experienced virtual reality, ever? Okay, wonderful. So, my role is really to just try to give you a tiny introduction to virtual reality just before Rifka comes and describes a little bit of the intervention that is being researched currently right now. But of course, I have to say that we don't have any specific conflicts of interest. And at the conclusion of this presentation, you'll be able to understand a little bit more the potential positive psychosocial benefits of virtual reality technology. But you have to get a little bit into the mindset of what is virtual reality and how is it kind of being applied everywhere. So the CanMed's roles that are being specifically focused on are expert, scholar, and health advocate. And this is just a slide to say that even if you don't know what virtual reality is, it's being researched all across the healthcare system, and people are looking at it from various angles, whether it be educationally, whether it be in therapeutics, whether it be in teaching communication skills, whether it be in teaching physical skill sets. And what virtual reality really is trying to replace a lot of your sensory perception using a technological source with an alternate virtual sensory perception. So the way that we apply it most commonly today is through the use of a headset, which blocks out your vision of anything which is around you right now, and often blocks out your hearing of anything else that you're going to be hearing around you right now, and replaces it by visions that you're going to be looking around you in a 360-degree point of view, and are able to see a completely alternate artificial reality. And that allows you to experience something which is actually quite surprising. And coupling that with the sounds which you're going to be hearing, which are again going to be supplied artificially, leads you to experience something which you're truly not expecting. And that breakage of your connection with reality leads to a lot of surprising outcomes. And so this can be augmented with the number of different sensory modalities that you incorporate. The most common being visual, auditory, but more and more you're going to be seeing people using what we call haptics, which means that you're going to be having little sensors as well as potentially sleeves or clothing which can actually deliver sensations to your skin. So without further ado, I just want to talk a little bit about the fact that, in cardiology alone, we're seeing, dozens of papers accumulating in terms of experimentation with virtual reality, with the various trainings, rehabilitation, and teaching associated with cardiac control, and that the outcomes which are being described, and again, it's many small studies combined and very difficult to really compare all of the different data, but really are looking at how it can reduce pain, reduce anxiety, reduce depression, assist in meditation, sleep improvement, rehabilitation training, and the list goes on and on. So it is a very interesting and very rapidly evolving field. And without further ado, my colleague and researcher, Rifka Hanfling.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to state the conflict of interest. I don't have any affiliation, financial otherwise, with any for-profit or not-for-profit organization besides working for Hope and Coop. Okay, so the conclusion of this question, you will be able, like the Dr. Zigby said, to understand the potential positive psychosocial benefit virtual reality technology may provide for patients in the palliative care setting. So these are the CAM8, expert, scholar, and health advocate. Okay. So at the end of life stage, people reminisce and relate their life experience. Memories surface and are shared with families and friends. Regrets also are often expressed for things that they wish they had accomplished but did not do or get to do. It is our experience that in the last few days, individuals often relate their feeling of isolation, shame, let me go on, pain, anger, and sadness. It is in those moments that seeking refuge in memories of the past or in the making of pleasant new memories and leaving a legacy to their loved one is helpful to the patient and may even provide them with a moment of peace and happiness. So memories such as those others, a memoir such as those others mentioned in the slide, underline the universal importance and desire for positive reflection, nostalgia, familiarity, and memories during the dying process and right up until one's last breath. So we have been privileged with the recounting of patients' life journeys, including intimate details about their family lives, past careers, hopes and desires, and too often regrets. Personal reflection during death and dying surrounded nostalgia of workplaces and or of life pleasure activities like leisure, play, and recreation. By introducing the VR in palliative care patients, we provide them with the last opportunity for them to relive these impactful places or engage in novel activities that they may have regretted not doing. As well, the whole person approaches factors in the integration of the VR technology by the medical and the multidisciplinary team. Past research has shown the benefits of incorporating the VR technology in medical treatment for the management of pain and prevention of anxiety or depression during rehabilitation. Hence, as part of the Services of Hope and Cope, we have undertaken a research project to explore, one, the potential benefits of the virtual reality experience within a palliative care sample, and two, to test the feasibility of personalizing the patient's VR experience by providing video options ranging from travel, destination, to leisure and sport activity. And we have about 50 videos in the headset that are specific requests of our patients. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. So, the method and the data collection. We divided in three parts: the pre-VR screening questionnaire, the VR experience itself, which is about 7-8 minutes, and the post-VR assessment. So for the pre-VR screening, we used the McGill Quality of Life questionnaire, the Beck Anxiety Inventory for anxiety, the PROMI Emotional Distress for depression, Death and Dying Distress Scale for the fear of death, and then a medical protocol assessment where we looked at physical, emotional, and spiritual wellness that is rated with 0 and 10, and 10 being the best. And then the VR experience itself, which is at the patient request. So it's something maybe that we have already, or a very specific place that they wanted to see. The VR experience is 7 to 8 minutes, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. And then the post-VR screening, the immediate, and then 3 or 4 hours later. And again, then we look at the physical, emotional, and spiritual wellness, again, rated from 0 to 10. So the preliminary results. These results are unofficial based on our observation and data collected at the present. We are looking at to recruit up to 20 patients in palliative care. So far, we have recruited 12 patients between the years of 2020 and 2023. Due to COVID, the research was halted temporarily. It restarted in 2022. At the moment, the recruitment is very slow because we are getting sicker patients in palliative care, and they do not have the strength to answer all those questions. But we offer the VR to everyone, regardless if they are going to be part of the research or not. So we have noticed that the death and dying distress scale was really causing an adverse reaction in the patient. They didn't want to answer, and it makes them really feel anxious and nervous. So we decided to eliminate this questionnaire. On the pre-screening, patients were asked how they felt in terms of anxious, depressed, and fearful of the future. And we asked that question again on the post-screening. So the most frequently requested location were Italy, Israel, Greece, and nature videos, but much more than that. So what have we observed? We observed that once we explained the aim of the wheelchair experience and gave them the choice of videos available, or asked them if they have any preferences that we can bring to them, most of the patients started to share their memories and express sometimes a very specific place that they would want to see. And we brought that to them. So the pre-virtual reality medical assessment was in average rated between 3 and 6, and the physical, emotional, and spiritual wellness. Post-experience, immediately after the VR experience, the average numbers went up between 6 and 8 on the physical wellness, and 7 and 10 on the emotional wellness. Spiritual wellness stayed the same. At the 3 to 4 hours as checkup, most patients expect the same sense of well-being, meaning 6 to 8 on the physical wellness, and 7 to 10 on the emotional wellness. But what also was very interesting to see is that whenever we came back to the room, the first question was, "Oh, are you coming back to give us another VR experience?" They were really excited to be able to experience it. And they asked for sometimes the same kind of video, or sometimes they'll ask us for something else. So the patients really are looking forward to it. And I must say, every time I go in and I see that excitement, it really brings us, we feel good about it. We can give them something so really meaningful and yet so easy to do. We asked the patient how they felt, again, if they were anxious, depressed, or fearful of the future after experiencing the VR. And they most responded that while experiencing the virtual reality and reliving past memories, experience, especially when they shared it with their family members, we have a few headsets, made them feel less anxious and depressed. And some expressed that they were given an opportunity to leave a legacy to their family members. And that brought them to feel more calm and really happy to be able to do that. So the VR experience. I'm going to show you a video soon, just of one of them to give you the experience. Not the same as really seeing it on the headset, but it gives a little bit of an idea. So what we observed in our patients when they were experiencing the virtual reality is that from a position of being like stiff, you come into the room, they're sitting in a bed, they're wondering what is it they're going to experience, to having the headset, having chosen their videos, and then we see them kind of going like this to going, opening their hands. We can see how they relax. We can see their faces turning into smiles, especially when they are revisiting a place they had visited before, and they kind of try to go and touch what's on the screen. So we see them going like this with their hands, or saying, "Oh, I recognize this place. This is what happened when I was there." And they start kind of sharing the memory. After the experience, they will continue that conversation, and we really can get to know what they experience and the joy of re-experiencing that meaningful memory, especially when they can have that conversation with their family members. So some requests that we got for the virtual reality, we had a patient who asked for a motorcycle race. He wasn't able to experience one, and I brought it to him, and it was really wonderful to see how he was in that race. Oh, go quicker, do this, go on. And he really experienced it a few times, kept on asking again and again for it. So we were able to give him that joy before he passed away. We had a patient who loved trains. Really, the whole room was full of trains. And he asked me, I would like to experience a train ride. So I brought him a video, very immersive, and you actually feel as you are going on that journey. And we were able to give him that and have him experience joy, some kind of control over his life before his death. One very memorable experience is someone who wanted to visit Mecca and was not able to do that. So I brought the patient a video of Mecca. And she experienced it with her family member. A day later, she passed away. The husband came over and said, you gave her the biggest gift by enabling her to be in Mecca. And even today, when I think of it, it brings tears to my eyes. So we have others. We have skiing. Somebody wanted to go to opera. Somebody wanted to see Elvis Presley concert. We brought that too. So the VR really is a project where we see how meaningful we can make the end-of-life stage for our patients. So I'm going to show you a video. It's a nature video surrounded by elephant. You will just see in the video how the elephant is kind of coming forward. And you will see it in a second. And as the elephant comes forward in the 360 video, it's like very real. You see the elephant actually coming onto you, and then you see the patient going, and then starting to laugh. So you see like the first elephant really coming very, very near to the headset, like a Google. This is to show you how real the experience can be. So it's coming forward, and then it's kind of going to blow. And of course, in the video, it's all one. Okay. So just a small example. So what are we trying to see with these researchers? Like Dr. Zigby said, we're trying to demonstrate how virtual technology can improve spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being in hospice medicine and palliative care. It could potentially become a standard part of whole person care approaches within a variety of medical departments, and as a part of training and development among interprofessional collaborative healthcare teams. Thank you.
It's such an amazing project and amazing work that you're doing. It's really fascinating, and I appreciate you sharing it with all of us, and continued success. Do we have any questions in the room or online?
Hi, I have a question. Do you think that there's a correlation between the intensity of what the patient is going through in the virtual reality? For example, someone going to a roller coaster at La Ronde, or the intensity of the emotions that are created with the percentage of improvement in their well-being?
Well, yes, there is a question because when you're presenting something that brings back, initiates a good feeling within yourself, will automatically rate their well-being higher than they were before. This is what we're actually trying to see, if by providing an emotional and spiritual or physical wellness, it's going to improve their mood for anxiety and depression. And we are seeing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, you hear me? Perfect. My name is Maurizio. I'm the oncology massage therapist at the Glen, and this is totally new to me. I've never heard of this before, so thank you for bringing it to our attention. My question is in relation to physical pain. In massage therapy, when I was doing long massage sessions of an hour to oncology patients, the most common feedback that I got afterwards was, I no longer have this tightness in my chest. So yes, pain is related to your physical illness if you have a certain kind of cancer, but as we know, anxiety also is related to not only mental pain, but physical pain. So my question to you is, have you gotten feedback from patients saying, the pain in my arm is gone after I saw this video?
Thanks. I think I'll let Dr. Zigby answer this question.
Yes, I'll let you do that.
So thank you for that question. So the answer is yes. The pain often decreases during the actual visualization. There's a very strong distraction effect that's observed and well described in the literature as well. Certainly, it can persist hours afterwards as well. The immediate time after, and again, this study, we talk a lot about the immediate hours afterwards. Our unit, and again, Rifka really has said it very, very quietly, but it's incredibly difficult to do this kind of research on a unit where individuals are very cognitively compromised and they fluctuate incredibly fast. So the immediate effect is actually very dramatic. So that can be various symptoms which are decreased. One of the things we didn't mention, though, is that you do have to be careful for motion sickness as well, which is another big factor which limits our applying it for people at the very, very, very end of life. But certainly weeks out, there's a lot more potential for involving people into it in repeated experiences.
Thank you, Rifka. Thank you, Jean, for this wonderful talk. I hope that you're going to be here the rest of the day if anyone has any additional questions throughout the day, because I know that many of us are fascinated.